A special ceremony marking the end of World War I will take place next month at Seaside Cemetery. And as our Brian Burns reports, members of the American Legion would like your help remembering Coastal Bend veterans who gave their lives during that war.
It's extremely important that we remember the price America has always paid for its freedom. And there was a substantial number of people that lost their lives in that war, and Corpus Christi, the Coastal Bend area in Nueces County was very well represented.
Members of the Patriots Band and Honor Guard of America and representatives from Seaside Cemetery gathered at the American Legion Hall recently to ask for help from the public so that World War I veterans could be honored and remembered on the anniversary of the end of that conflict.
The war ended on the 11th day, the 11th month, the 11th hour. That's when the armistice was signed. And that becomes very significant to us, and that's why we're starting it at 10 o'clock so we can note the time and exactly when it ended.
Anybody out there that has a relative that served in World War I, we want them to come forward with the information, and so we can set them up in a picture.
And that's the kind of information they're looking for. Full name, branch of service, and photograph that will be on display on Sunday, November 11th at 10 a.m. at Seaside Cemetery. Approximately 38 men from the Coastal Bend are identified as World War I veterans, and they want to make sure that no one is missed.
The idea initially just came from just taking some ideas around as to what events were coming up that are of significant importance to the history of the military and the United States.
The Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts will take part in the ceremony as well, and it will include the ringing of the bell after the reading of each name of a veteran who served.
And one of the reasons that it was so important to us, so significant, is that the American Legion started right after World War I. And what is especially important to us is that this post right here is named after one of the soldiers that lost his life over there.
If you have a relative or friend who served and would like to make sure they're recognized, just go to our webpage at KIIITV.com for contact information. The men and women who served this country in any conflict is the reason military matters. Brian Burns, 3 News.